Riccione, Adriatic Coast, April 2026. A villa is up for auction, 3 stories, a small tower, white facade, a direct view of the sea. From the outside, hardly distinguishable from the other holiday houses along the promenade. 2 offers are on the table. The first, €2 million. The second, €1.2 million. The foundation selling the villa chooses the lower offer. Because with this house, it is not only the price that matters, but who buys and what they make of it. The house is called Villa Mussolini and has been for almost 90 years. The house stands in Riccione, a seaside resort on the Adriatic, not far from Rimini. It is not a palace, not a monument, not a representative building. It is a holiday home. But it carries a name that divides Italy to this day, a name that some want to erase, and that others deliberately preserve. What does a place do with a history that no one can forget, and that some want to glorify? Riccione has just made a decision. This story tells how it came to that. In 1892, the villa is built. The client is Marchioness Eugenia Beccadelli, a noblewoman from Bologna and Florence who spends her summers on the Adriatic. Designed by the architect Ferdinando Mancini. 2 stories, 13 rooms, a small tower, direct access to the beach, marble floors, wrought iron railings, no opulence, functional, clean, elegant. Riccione at this time is still a small fishing village, slowly becoming a seaside resort. Wealthy families from Emilia-Romagna come to the sea in summer. The house is one of many. The Marchioness Beccadelli dies in 1904. The villa passes to the Giulio Monti family from Ferrara. It is called Villa Monti. Then to the Angeletti family from Bologna. Finally to Giulia Galli Bernabe. Every owner leaves behind a name. None leaves behind a story. That changes in 1934. Mussolini has been in power since 1922, 12 years as dictator. He and his wife, Rachele, both come from Romagna. Riccione lies in their home region. Since 1924, they have spent their summers here, sometimes in Cattolica, sometimes in a count's villa, sometimes at the Hotel Al Lido, sometimes at the Hotel Milano Helvetia, whose owner Pietro Tontini was a comrade from the First World War. Rachele wants a permanent summer base, no more hotels, a villa of their own. She has her eye on Giulia Galli Bernabe's villa. The owner does not want to sell. Mayor Frangiotto Poulet steps in as a mediator. Exactly how he persuades her is not recorded. The result is, she sells. Purchase price, 170,000 lire. Date, July 2nd, 1934. Where the money came from is not conclusively documented to this day. One version, Rachele used royalties from Mussolini's articles for the American magazine Fortune. Another, she used party donation funds. Mussolini himself believed the villa was a gift from the people of Riccione. He had been against the purchase. Too expensive, he said. Rachele bought it anyway. From this summer on, the house no longer carries the names of its previous owners. It carries the name of the Duce. Mussolini does not come by car. He arrives by seaplane, a Savoia Marchetti, 3-engined, landing off the coast. A 75-meter ship, the Aurora, lies anchored offshore during his stays. Up to 300 soldiers guard the estate, a holiday home, on a public beach. The locals call them furnirain, cockroaches, because they appear everywhere, silently, unexpectedly. Anyone walking too slowly along the promenade in front of the villa is moved on by guards, strength and paranoia, both at the same time. Who knows what he truly felt? Mussolini bathes in the sea every day. He swims breaststroke, somewhat old-fashioned as observers note. Crowds and photographers wait on the beach. The newsreels film everything. Inside, marble floors, wrought iron railings, and a cinema room where foreign films are shown, films that the regime has banned for the general population. In 1934, Austrian Chancellor Engelbert Dollfuss visits the villa. He is Mussolini's closest ally. The two had guaranteed Austrian independence here in Riccione a year earlier. Dollfuss travels back to Vienna. His wife Alwine and the children Rudolf and Eva stay behind as guests of Riccione. On an afternoon in July, Alwine shows the children on the beach how to build sandcastles. Then the news arrives. Dollfuss has been assassinated in Vienna by Austrian Nazis. Mussolini has tears in his eyes as he delivers the news to Alwine. He holds her hand wordlessly. He knows she is expecting a child. He arranges for a plane. Alwine flies to Vienna immediately. Rachel stays with her own children and with Rudolf and Eva. The Dollfuss children do not yet know what has happened. Mussolini drives to Rome. The murder of his ally is a political crisis. He orders Italian troops to mobilize at the Brenner Pass as a warning to Hitler to keep his hands off Austria. The house has been in Mussolini's possession for barely 3 months, and already it carries a piece of world history. In 1940, the surrounding plots are purchased, existing buildings demolished. A high perimeter wall is built around the entire estate. Protection outward, seclusion inward, a third story, a veranda, a tennis court. New buildings for the children on the newly acquired land. From 13 rooms, 27 are made. The grounds grow to 6,000 square meters. In June 1941, Foreign Minister Galeazzo Ciano brings news here once more. Germany has invaded the Soviet Union. Operation Barbarossa has begun. For Italy, Germany's ally. This means the war is expanding. 2 pieces of news, both received here, both of historic consequence. A holiday home on the Adriatic. The fascist regime falls. On the night of 24th to 25th July 1943, the Grand Fascist Council votes against. Mussolini, his own governing body, withdraws its confidence. King Victor Emmanuel III then has him arrested. His children Romano and Anna Maria are in Riccione, together with Orsola, the wife of his son Vittorio, and Gina, the widow of his son Bruno. They all learn the news here. Mussolini himself never returns. Rachele keeps the villa for now. It was registered in her name, not his, so it is not immediately confiscated. In 1946, a court in Rome orders the confiscation of Mussolini's assets. But because the villa was registered in Rachele's name, it does not fall entirely under the ruling. Only the front section is transferred to the municipality of Riccione. The veranda is demolished to free up the road. Rachele keeps the rest. She visits the villa a few more times after the war, but Riccione reminds her too much of difficult years. In 1952 she sells, and from then on prefers Ischia. The house waits for what comes next. The villa changes hands. A company from Bologna buys it and divides it into separate units. At some point, a restaurant opens in the villa called Perry. The owner preserves the original rooms but brings in Spanish furniture. It is considered a fashionable place to eat. Then, a veterinary clinic for dogs. Then, years of vacancy. In the 1980s, the villa falls into decay. The Bolognese company does nothing about it. A communist mayor wants it demolished. A symbol of fascism should disappear. The house survives simply because the money for demolition is not there. In 1997, the savings bank foundation Cassa di Risparmio di Rimini buys the derelict villa. Citizens of Riccione had campaigned for years to reclaim it. The foundation lends it to the municipality, with a contract granting 30 years of usage rights. The restoration costs €1 million. Municipality and province share the costs. In 2005, the villa reopens and receives a new old name, Villa Mussolini. It becomes a cultural center. Exhibitions, concerts, events. Frida Kahlo, Elliot Erwitt, Steve McCurry. Civil wedding ceremonies take place here. Couples marry in this house, in a house that breathes history that some celebrate, others mourn. Then, at the end of 2025, the foundation announces it wants to sell the villa. After almost 30 years, it gives up responsibility. The foundation puts the villa up for auction. 3 bidders come forward. 3 envelopes are submitted. One of them, the company David II. Behind David II stands Massimo Massano, a former member of parliament for the neo-fascist Movimento Sociale Italiano. His plan: to turn the villa into a center for futurist art. Futurism, an art movement that Marinetti founded in 1909 with the words, "We want to glorify war." Many of its representatives later became fascists. Works by Umberto Boccioni are to be shown. His offer, €2 million. The municipality of Riccione bids $1.2 million. Normally the highest offer wins, but not here. The foundation evaluates not only the price, but also the plan, and it decides. The house goes to the municipality. Mayor Daniela Angelini calls it a victory for the city and a reclaiming of identity. In May 2025, the town council had made a long overdue decision. Mussolini's honorary citizenship was revoked. In Italy, a rare step. In many municipalities, Mussolini remains an honorary citizen to this day. Riccione wanted to send a clear signal. The name of the villa stays, Villa Mussolini, not out of nostalgia, but because suppression is not a solution. The house still stands, the same white facade, the same small tower, the same view of the sea. Here a dictator learned that his closest ally had been murdered. Here he learned that a world war was expanding. Here his children learned that the regime had fallen and their father had been arrested. And today, exhibitions, concerts, weddings. A house is more than stone and mortar. It carries what was decided, spoken, experienced, and lived within it. The question is not whether to preserve a place like this. The question is what to make of it. Riccione has decided the house remains open for everyone under the same name.